Welcome to Dear Alice, a lifestyle approach to interior design.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to Dear Alice.
You know how many episodes we have that start with a laugh? I don't know if you guys heard that or not. We probably got edited out. Thank you, Jordan.
You just said the word textures.
Funny. Textures. We're going to do a third episode on wallpapers.
Yes.
In this episode, we're going to be unpacking the textured wallpapers and the grasscloths.
Yes.
Yep.
I see you out there. I know you were a kid once pulling the strings on the grasscloth at your grandma's house.
I know I did.
Just plucking those out, thinking that was fun and funny, ruining your grandma's dreams.
After we attacked the cane chairs.
Just kidding. It was, oh yeah, that's true. You wanted to unthread those. There is a really special place for grasscloths. And I, for one, have it in my living room. And I have a strong and firm testimony on grasscloths. So I'm excited to get into this today.
Too. And honestly, when we were talking about this and going through projects, I'm like, I can't think of a house where we didn't use a texture. Like a grasscloth or a linen or something in some capacity, because it's kind of a draping for the room, right? It's nothing too opinionated, but it does give a hush to the space, and it just adds interest without being overwhelming. So
one thing that we've learned recently is if you have a client that has more than one home, they think of the grasscloths for their beach house and that they would never use them in their city house. However, if you are like us normal folk who have one residence, we're gonna use it however the heck we want.
It's a beach house in Utah.
Oh heck
yeah, you do.
I'm making all my house dreams come true in one residence. So so however you want to think about grasscloths in your mind is up to you. We're going to talk about them today. Yeah. But first, guys, we are mid-October. Can we talk about Halloween for a minute?
Yes.
Yeah.
I love Halloween.
What's your favorite part about Halloween? Or what's your kid's favorite part?
I'm gonna let you go first. Yeah,
Would you have a memory
so many.
about
I'm like,
it?
I know your answer. Well,
yeah. I don't know. This year we may not get to go because we always go to Disneyland. Brian Head has just been kicking. It's just been killing me. So
what's your favorite part though in your brain about Disneyland and Halloween?
They just do everything to the nines there. That's super cool. And just it gets darker there earlier. It's like 4:30 to 5, and so it's like the lights come on and it feels like it's night forever. So that's so fun.
I love that.
Just all the decorations, and they have a ton of crows there, especially in the fall. And it's just it's an Anaheim thing because they've built so much, torn down a lot of trees, so they all flock to Disneyland. There's just like a million crows. You're like,
part of their migration pattern.
That's what it is. And I was like, man, Disney is paying crows somehow to get here, and they did it. So but yeah, it's just it's the thing that makes me feel like it is the season. You know what I mean? Like I'm just like, okay, it's here.
It's kicking off.
Yeah. Having said that, it started in August 23rd, which I thought was dumb. Yeah. It's too early,
guys.
Yeah. Well, I don't like that.
Much.
In August, it was my birthday, and I remember grocery shopping on my birthday, August 14th, and they had pumpkin spice donuts out, and I was like, "Are we really doing fall this early?"
It just gets earlier and earlier.
I get it. Here's the thing: everybody's favorite season. I swear, you ask 9 out of 10 people, they're going to say fall. And so you want to start fall sooner because you want to stay in that moment. And we actually are in that moment of time right now, guys.
Yeah. This is how I feel about stuff starting too soon, though. It's like, I love dinner, but I don't want it right after I just ate lunch. You know what I mean? Like I need a minute. I need a breath, And so, let's keep like Christmas tunes, like after, November 1st and to the end of the year. I think Halloween mid-September is good for me,
They just have so many people that probably want to experience it. Are tickets more expensive to go for Halloween or just the same?
They vary.
They're a little
bit. Yeah.
Probably peak times are just more.
But like a Wednesday is going to be cheaper than a Saturday or something like that. But what I think they're trying to do is like there's a 2-week lull at the end of always is. And so I think they're trying to like bring the people,
bump it up.
Data taught them.
Okay.
Yeah.
Here's a quick Disneyland question for you. Halloween or Christmas, if you could go to one or the other.
Man,
I've done it during Christmas, but I haven't done Halloween. And I know like I'm missing out. I need to do it.
Yeah. I would probably say Halloween. For real. Like, and I love, like, don't get me wrong, I love Christmas, but Halloween's so fun.
Wait,
so fun there.
So sorry. I have a tangent in my head. Are we supposed to say Halloween or are we supposed to say Halloween?
I say Halloween.
I say Halloween, but you say Halloween.
Well,
like All Hallows Eve.
Yeah.
Hallows Eve. I didn't know I said that.
Her last name is Hall.
Halloween.
I don't know. Yeah.
Hall.
Yeah.
Halloween.
Halloween.
I don't know.
I wish we could take a poll right now. Just say it out loud in your car while you're driving.
Dear Alice at aliceathome.com.
Yeah.
I do. When I do listen to our podcast, everyone, I know that I slur my words and I'm just like blah, 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 blah. Textures like Halloween. Like, anyway, I know I say like
Halloween.
a lot. So I say Halloween.
Do you know what? Jane Bennett just got back from working in New York and she says horrible.
It's horrible. Oh, she's been in New York for.
And I was like, horrible? What are we saying? We say horrible.
That's so funny.
It's horrible. I'm like, you're in New York now.
That's hilarious.
It's horrible.
That's like when Madonna married Guy Ritchie and she had like a British accent after that. I was like, what the heck?
Guys, I do that too. I cannot go to market and not say y'all and pull up a southern drawl if I'm talking to somebody. It's addictive.
Yeah.
It
it's like osmosis.
Jane's blood.
And now my daughter Jane also.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was in there. It was just dormant.
It was.
New York woke it up. That's what happened.
Yes,
Yeah.
definitely.
I'm gonna go hang out with her.
Yes. Okay. Tell us about your favorite Halloween.
Oh, I have 3 little boys, so I'm just like, boys love spooky things. Like we see a spider, we like go and look at it and inspect it because they have 3 little boys. That's what you do. So Halloween is a big deal. I was just telling you guys that like if a kid's having a meltdown and they're screaming, the grand distraction question is, hey, what are you going to be for Halloween? And then like all things shut off and they're just like, Chase from Paw Patrol, and then everything's okay. So yeah, Halloween is a very commonly discussed thing in our house.
I love this so much.
And the costumes change on the daily, as you can imagine, the meltdowns.
Yes.
So, but my favorite part of Halloween
I think the costume started in August or July.
Oh gosh, yeah. We're in a costume era for sure.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I feel like they've been any number of things. It's probably
just rotation.
Yeah, rotation of costumes. Yeah. And
All
multiple per day.
Per hour.
I'm okay with that.
Per hour.
Per hour. Like potty training during costume era is the worst, which is what I'm going through right now. But it's really cute.
Yeah. It is cute.
Also, I'm always poor Jess. I'm always sending her pictures like you're my instant live a friend.
It's the best.
So I would
also
say,
you should have stock in Halloween costumes. I'm like, how much money is Sue throwing down in costumes?
Every
You must
time we
have
go
a
to
costume
Costco, I
closet.
feel like they're just like, because anyway.
Do you have a costume closet? Where do you keep them all? Pray
in a
tell.
big pile, because they would tear them out of a closet anyway, and I put them in a bin and they take them out of there. So I just have a pile of them right now.
How many bins do you have?
We used to have like one big trunk full of them.
Okay.
But now they're on the floor because like they're just, it's such a
just a
common
trunk's
thing.
worth.
Uh-huh.
So maybe
Yeah,
like
they condense.
under 20?
Yeah, I would say 20 for sure.
Okay, good.
Yeah, different pieces and
So
parts.
your favorite part of Halloween, my apologies.
Oh, okay. Sorry, I've said a lot of things. Is for sure the dress up. I think like for my kids is really, really fun. I've had it obviously for a couple months now, but like for them to like finalize what they're going to be, and they're going to go, like I have 2 that are going to be going to school in their costume, and like it's a big
cool.
deal.
It really is.
It's a big, big deal. So I think the dress up, and then we have this spooky old barn, right? That's in the back, and it's really cool. But at Halloween, my neighbor across the street, she uses it and like decks out and does a whole party. And she always asks, she's like, can I do something in the barn? I'm like, sure. People think I did it.
Yeah.
Just kidding. Anyway, but it's really, really fun because she goes all out and all the kids come, and like we have a big fire in the pit, and it's just so spooky. The leaves are falling. There's piles everywhere and kids are jumping through those. So there's just like, there's a crisp in the air. You're wearing layers. Like there's the food, there's so much good stuff to say about Halloween. I can't pinpoint it to one thing, but just
and if you live in a good neighborhood,
Oh
like
my
during
gosh.
on Halloween, like night, like everyone's
It's like
out.
hocus pocus.
Someone's making hot chocolate. Someone has cooking hot dogs
Donuts
or something. Yeah,
over
donuts.
there.
Yeah.
It's so much
It's
fun.
just a
So
whole
good.
communal event that is
It
idyllic.
is.
If you close your eyes and picture it, it's exactly it.
Yep.
And Sue has this massive tree that's twice the height of her house that's dropping these massive yellow leaves. And the kids are in swing sets under it, in costumes, running around. And yeah, you're hearing music while you watch it.
They should film something under that tree.
so
Yeah.
freaking cute.
It's really cute. So
Yeah.
I'm so excited for this time of year.
Oh, guys, I love it.
Oh,
Well,
okay.
let's jump into our topic, shall we?
Yes.
Let's.
This is our 3rd episode on wallpaper. We had 2 others. The first one on murals, the second one on patterns. Go listen to those if you haven't. This one is on textures and grasscloths. So we're going to be talking about textured wallpapers, which, like I said, which include silks, linens, grasscloths, upholstered walls, vinyls,
Yeah.
type of thing.
And I know when we think textures, I think it's still a visual texture. So still tune in on YouTube or Spotify, because I still think that the texture gives a real mood to a space, even though it's a little bit more quiet than the patterns and murals. It's a mood.
Yeah.
So,
and to illustrate what we're talking about, we're going to be sharing our projects to show you how we've used wallpapers. So today we're going to be showing you the textures and the grass cloths that we've used in projects, where to use them, how to use them. So as you're looking through your house and trying to consider if you want to paper something or not, there might be a place that you didn't think where you could put a little bit of wallpaper and really help that space come to life.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Love that.
So fun. So let's start off with the closet, shall we?
Yes,
This is probably one of our most beloved projects. This is Rachel Parcel's closet, and the backs of her closet wall.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, every bay is hit with this Osborn and Little Paper, and it's silvered and it has a wave to it, and it is really dimensional. And I don't know how else to describe it. It's like, it's almost leaf-like, silver leaf-like, but it looks like it bends in the back of her closet.
You almost feel like it's a refined corrugation or something happening on the back.
It looks like
closet.
an actual installation of silvered metal that
you have to pet it. Like
you have to touch it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It looks like it's like an optical illusion, but it looks way more expensive than something corrugated. Anyway, really stunning. So the backs of your closets is a really nice place to hit with this. This is really good for like built-ins as well in a men's office or a woman's office. You can get this effect. Shoes, purses, clothing, all looks really stunning with that as its backdrop.
It pulls up the drama, I think, on any space you put that in. It's really beautiful. And clothes are like what she's highlighting, and so it makes sense to do something strong back there, right?
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah. One of the kings of this whole game is Philip Jeffries.
Yeah.
That's a paper
Let's talk about
installer. Yeah. I think we said
manufacturer, right?
Manufacturer, yes.
Yeah.
Sorry, Rachel Parcel's was Osborn and Little. So we're going to show you a couple Philip Jeffries moments right now. Speaking of silvered, I kind of wanted to stay in that vein. This is Philip Jeffries' Silver Leaf. This room is a dining room from our Coastal Contemporary project, and it had an architectural feature in it called a barrel vault. And whenever you see a vault like that, you just feel like you have to do something to it.
Treat it.
Yeah, you have to. So this is Philip Jeffries' silver leaf wallpaper. You could silver leaf it for a lot more money, but we chose to paper. Actually, Philip Jeffries is not super affordable. It's a luxury item.
Yeah, Cole & Son has a silver leaf like blocking where it looks like silver leaf, but it's a wallpaper.
Mm-hmm.
And that would be the affordable version of the Philip Jeffries, which is actual silver leaf.
Yes.
And so there are different ways to get this look, but it's beautiful. It's that metallic sheen, especially on the barrel where you're going to get the light kind of hitting it at different spots, I think is like what makes this so stunning.
Mm-hmm.
It's just you get the arcuation with the silver leaf popping with that light. It's good.
Yeah,
it's
and
so good.
Philip Jeffries also does this in
a gold
leaf as well.
Yeah.
If you need that.
It's stunning. It's so pretty.
Yeah, so pretty. Also kind of a silvered one is this grass cloth from Tebow.
Yeah.
Tebow is spelled Thibaut. And Tebow's a more affordable paper line within our own library. A lot of professionals use it. And they do great grass cloths.
They have like several books, and they're called their texture books. And some of them, are like the real grass cloths, real silks, things like that. But then they also have other ones that like are vinyl versions of that for like bathrooms and things like that. But this one that we're looking at right here in this little girl's bedroom is one of our favorites. It's called like silver on brown is the colorway, and it's a silver thread going on like it's this really pretty warm brown. But when you see it live in those combinations of colors, it looks very like pinky and blushy. But when I remember when I first read that colorway, I'm like, surely that's wrong. It should be blush. But you dissect it, and you're like, it's really magical when you're getting into textures and grass cloths and things, because they're natural fibers. Everything else that we've been talking about thus far has been hand painted on some, but like more, two-dimensional printed.
Yeah.
But this is an actual 3-dimensional woven. And I think that that's what's so magical. And I love that Tebow is such a good resource for us, because if we need to pull the price down, that's exactly where I go. If I want a good product for a lower cost. So I think this is money. We've used this paper several times in several spaces. And I think every time it shows up, it's so good.
Yeah. It's magical, like a unicorn. Okay, so speaking of that silver and brown grass cloth that you love, that gives it that pinky hue. So we use that again in this powder bath.
Yes, this is one down also in Utah, but instead of doing it like everywhere, she's has English descent and she loves paneling. And so we're like, this will be really fun to do a paneling detail, but do the grass cloth within the panel. I think it's a really cool way to do it. We've done this on like interior, on doors, cabinetry doors. We've grass cloth the interior of that. I love doing it inside the panel just because it's a nice break. It gives this geometric rhythm, but then you get the texture of like, you want to go pet it. It has that little bit of metallic sheen.
Yeah.
So.
And also I have to say one practical tip about this is that you also aren't having the grass touch too close to the ground in case there is a spill. Yeah. Because this one's a real grass. It's not a vinyl, right?
Grass,
yeah. And then you're breaking up the seams.
Yeah.
So it's not seams touching seams. So this is kind of a practical application, but also a high-end application because you're pairing it with paneling.
Exactly. Because majority of the time in a bathroom, like almost 100% of the time, we're using a vinyl that looks like a grass cloth for the wipeability and for the installation, because that could get really, really tricky. Because I'm talking to our installer, and in bathrooms, it's like it is a big no-no, especially when you're doing the whole thing down to the ground, to do like an actual natural grass cloth or a silk, because they will show your fingerprints. And so they will also show other things that happen in a bathroom, spills, splashes, whatever it is. And so like he was very specific. He's just like, people should know to just try and just trust the vinyl, look for their bathrooms at all costs.
Yeah.
So anyway, but if you are paneling, it is nice because it sandwiches the seam and it just like, it keeps it away from, any of the splash zone really. So.
Yeah.
Is it harder to cut? Like, did he say anything about like installation? Is installation more because or
it can be. We have some complex spaces that we're going to show you depending on the size and shape of the room. Depends on the complexity of the lay. I will say with the grass cloths is that like most of them are about 27-inch wide rolls. Traditionally, you're a 27-inch wide roll. And I like that. I like seeing the seam because then I know it's the real stuff. Sometimes you'll see like a printed one. They're like, there's no seams for like 72 inches. And I'm like, oh, that looks cheaper to me. It looks like a sticker versus like an artistry panel where I get to like know that that's the real thing.
You need to know your client though, because we have had people that are perfectionists where they feel like they're looking at an error.
And so it's like,
there's literally no real way to flow match from grass to grass because you're working with the natural fiber. And I'm with Sue. My eye has been trained to be able to see the real thing, and that the real thing when you see those edges come together and they're off a little bit because they're each their own individual constructed panel, So I think it looks
like
more
it's
expensive.
made by hand,
and totally hand stitched rather than machine made. So I don't know. There's something that your eye can appreciate the real thing, but know your client and know yourself when you're trying to choose the right material. And I think Tebow is doing a nice job of vinyls if you want something that does appear perfect and that you don't see the seams as much, right?
Yeah, and Philip Jeffries, they'll do anything in a vinyl as well. So if you like the look of something and a lot of places with these texture wallpapers, they will have like a counterpart that is a vinyl or a wipeable surface that you can get with the same look. So look into that too for wet zones. I think it's smart.
Such great advice.
But know the shape, because even like speaking of seams, like you have a wall, depending on where you start that, you don't going to just start in one corner, because there might be one centered panel that is going to go up and over the top if you're doing your ceiling. So you kind of have to do a lot of math dependent on your space to know like where those seams are going to hit and match up with each other. Even though you're not matching a panel, or a pattern, you're matching panels, more than that.
Yeah.
So,
and you don't want like a 6-inch panel somewhere. You're going to have to take some out of one on the other corner to make sure that the opposite looks, you know what I mean, has like a wide enough panel in it. Yeah.
It's like when you're laying tile, you map that out, like where you're going to start it so that you have equal distances on the ends or something, right?
Yep,
so
exactly.
Yeah. Anyway.
It's like we have to do tile drawings. You got to do a wallpaper drawing.
You do. And I think having a good wallpaper installer, even for Grasscloth, I know we've mentioned it on the mural and the pattern, that there's repeats and flow matching, but I think it's like equally important on the Grasscloth just because just the room for error. I will say, like, people always ask, like, how much extra should I order? And a lot of times it's hard to say But he did say on a texture like a grass cloth, he's like, always make sure you have at least one extra roll. You know, like you get if the person installing, hopefully that they've accounted for your waste and for like a little bit of extra, just in case it, like one comes in damaged or something and we want to stay in the same dye lot. But he's like, I always just like add one extra roll just for good measure. You know, if something happens in the future that the client's going to have an extra roll. So don't be too quick to try and return it, because if something happens, you're going to be glad you have that.
Yeah, Grasscloths were, when I was ordering stuff for the design center, that we had the biggest issue with dye lots in Grasscloth. So it was that could be
it's natural.
Yeah, it could be a big difference. So
good,
Totally.
good point.
Okay.
Another application similar to that bathroom with the paneling is this primary suite in Dallas.
Yeah, I love Grasscloth in a primary. I really do. We've done it a lot of times.
It's chill.
It is chill.
Yeah.
And it
like
also,
a blanket.
yeah, it's not a wet zone. It's usually a place where you're just going to come in and sleep or hang out. Kids aren't there. So it's kind of a luxury of a space. And I think you can go for it.
Yeah. I will say, just like if you are texture sensitive, make sure that anybody that's going to be living in the spaces or interacting with them knows how it feels. Most of the ones that we're doing are really quite refined, but I imagine that there are some that are scratchier than others. We have church buildings here, and they have these really and they probably are meant to like repel people from leaning too long. And they are like the scratchiest, worst like covering I've ever felt.
Yeah.
But anyway, that'll be rare, but just depending on where you're getting it from, just make sure that you understand the texture and make sure that everybody that's going to be living in it, like when they touch that or have interaction with it, that it's just not offensive. Yeah.
Great. Good side note.
Yeah.
This is one from Philip Jeffries. Any notes on that we want to share?
No, it was a soft colorway. She wanted it to feel just like a breath of air, you know, like nothing too much, but definitely attended to. And I think that we hit it on the mark.
And then the panel detail is just a click or two darker in paint color. And sheen wise here, we're like semi-gloss.
Semi-gloss on the paneling, but then we actually lacquered the ceiling in that same color just to kind of, again, it's a different type of texture, but definitely like adds to the room. Yeah. Lifts the hood, I think.
I think so too. Gives it a glassiness. It's a really nice counterbalance to the grass.
I think so.
Gorgeous.
It's so beautiful.
Speaking of ceilings, another really nice application for Grasscloth is on a ceiling. This is in a home office.
Yeah, there's a library here. We have a library, and then we also have the home office on opposite ends of the entry. And so we treated them in the same paint color, and then we popped that Grasscloth on the ceiling. It was so high, but it just needed something. I didn't necessarily want it to be dark, just because our ground was a little bit lighter on both of these. And so it was kind of helped to mirror some of like the temperature happening on the ground instead of feeling so cavernous, but attended to as well.
Yeah.
So anyway, and because a lot of the whole space was built-ins or windows or a door opening, it didn't necessarily make sense to do wall coverings on the wall, but it was a really nice touch, I think, to do it on that ceiling that popped up and trimmed out.
Yeah. So beautiful.
Yeah, I love it. It's soft, but I feel like it's just a well-detailed room or well-detailed home that like addresses every plane.
Yeah.
And just nothing was forgotten or missed.
I love that. 2 spaces here. This one is my own living room. This is
so pretty.
Grasscloth by Tebow. It's called Bronze. I remember the colorway. And I have to say, looking back at it, I really wish the ceiling were painted. Look at that room. I know. Yeah, this has been a decade that this room has been done. That last room, too, was at least a decade old, right? Yeah, because Nolan, anyway.
I was pregnant with Nolan when we designed that house. That's why we refer to our children and the age of the home, because they grew with the house.
Also an interesting point is that, like we started talking about a couple episodes ago, is that some interior designers are saying, oh yeah, wallpaper is just now coming into fashion. And we're like, no, this has all been done over a decade ago, right? Well, we've been in business 16 years and we've been doing wallpaper the whole time. Yeah. So anyway, but I do want to say though, our eyes change and they see new things. And so if I could pace something forward right now to the listener, it would be, if you happen to be listening, looking at my living room, I think that ceiling should be painted and I need to go back and do that. I'm at the point now though, where I'm ready to do something different to this room. And so I will address the ceiling in the next one because it does feel forgotten in a deeper, darker space. So that's fun.
Yeah.
And
it's fun.
another note, this is a space that's
I think it's
been.
because we also experience things. Like we
Yes.
see things, but we experience it. When you experience something as broad as like a full embodiment of like a texture on a wall or a wallpaper on the wall, you realize you're like, everything's so good. That needs to be changed. Like we need to do that ceiling because this feels so good. And like, I don't know, we're getting
You've
better.
seen a finished and completed ceiling, and now you have eyes for it.
Yeah. This is our verbal design lab. You guys get to hear it live here.
Definitely. This is another fantastic, this is Philip Jeffries. It's a blackened grasscloth.
It has this really cool striation.
And I think a larger scale grass too.
Yeah.
So it feels, really designer, really unapologetic, black built-ins here. I would love to see the ceiling treated here as well.
I would too.
Yeah,
I would too. This was like a kind of a small entry into like it wasn't a massive house. And I wonder if that's why we continued that white.
Yeah.
You know, just because there wasn't a lot of like space in between the spaces. And so we're like, maybe if that was continuous, but I honestly, I wouldn't feel sad about it. Again, small homes with big design, feel bigger.
Yeah.
So I think hitting the ceiling on that would be a good idea.
And this was probably a project that we did in like 2018 or 19, I would say. Yeah. But really stunning, and everybody loves this project. It's a lot of fun.
Well, this is from our House of Kennedy.
Yes, fantastic. So I wanted to show you guys a couple of vinyl grass cloths because this is a more affordable solution for those of you that have perfectionist clients or you're perfectionists. You can still achieve this look. Really fantastic for bathrooms and wet zones because they are scrubbable, and if they do get water splashed on it, you're not out of luck. Yeah, definitely. So this was this is actually a primary suite.
Linden Art. Yeah. So this is a primary suite, but anyway, she loves pattern on pattern and feeling on feeling, and so this was a feeling. You know, I think that's what a texture does. It gives a feeling back to the space instead of just doing drywall painted. So yeah, we picked the tile first, and then we kind of like, and that's the thing about a texture. You can always add a texture. Say you were in a remodel and you did. Or a new build, and like you have like the tile and everything is relatively new, but you were like a little afraid to put something on the walls because you just weren't ready to commit. But now you've lived in it and you want to do something. A grass cloth is a great thing it's kind of like a paint color. There's so many different textures and stuff that can like get along with your existing finishes, but give a real feeling and pulse back to the room. So I would say that that's a really easy plug-in if you're wanting to do something different to your home.
Great. Yeah. This is another primary suite in our...
This is the Grand Tour Estate.
And this is...
They love race cars, guys. They have the best car collection. That's why it's called the Grand Tour Estate.
Yeah. This is from Tebow. This is a vinyl. Is it not? Is it grass or is it more of a silk? A vinyl silk looking. It looks like fabric almost.
It's more refined. It looks like a grass because it's supposed to feel kind of organic, but it's just more refined.
A finer grade.
But it was vinyl, so we took it all the way down to the countertop. I know some builders will be like, you have to add a backsplash, but anyway, it was vinyl, so we're like, we like the look of it going to the crotch right there. Anyway, but it's just so pretty. It's a smaller space again, so wrapping the whole space in the grass cloth just made it feel really encompassing and enlarged the space. I think
just finished.
It feels finished. It's a finishing touch.
This is one of my all-time favorite primary suites.
Me too.
In the whole portfolio. I think it's genius. It's a great use of space for a small bathroom, and everything feels considered.
Yes.
Yeah.
And it started with what you might be living in right now for a 90s home that had the corner tub, with the jetted tub, like by the corner window. That's how that bathroom started. So if you haven't peeked at it, go to the Grand Tour Estate and just like look at that. And like, the utilization of space in that is perfection. Like the storage is good. The visuals are amazing. And
okay, let's talk about 3 other textures.
Okay,
we're going to talk about silk, we're going to talk about suede, and we are going to talk about something metallic. Yes, it looks like oil spilled. Intergalactic metallic oil spill. Okay, ready? Let's go with silk.
Okay,
so this is Philip Jeffries. This is in a music room, living room.
It's like a music living room right off the entry.
A double height ceiling with an oval. This is an oval shaped room.
Yeah, it was cylindrical. I think it was a round, maybe perfectly round because like on the outside it kind of feels turrety.
Just a really easy wallpaper situation, if you will. Not a straight line anywhere. Everything's curved.
Yeah. And so this is like the calculus Harvard of
wallpaper installations.
Like he looked like Michelangelo trying to figure this out. And it took a long time for our installer to figure this out. We knew we had this was a remodel, and we knew that we wanted to have some depth on the ceiling just to kind of pull it down and make it cozy. So we're like, oh, we have all this finished work. We'll just, do that like the rest of the entry. And then we'll like just get an easy breezy texture for the top. It will be super easy. And it wasn't. But it paid out. And like now the client can say it's one of her favorite spaces, as is mine. I think one of the best installations we've ever done. But I will say when I was talking to the installer specifically about this job, I was like, is there a way to like measure Grasscloth when you're trying to order it? Is it like a square footage thing? And he like stopped me. He's like, absolutely not. It's not a per square foot thing. Mm-hmm. It depends on the space, the shape of the space, and the geometry of like what's going on. Because this project took us about 5 times as much wallpaper as you think it would, because it would for like the square footage. The waist was like probably well over 50% just because of the pie shape that he had to create to make this radial, action happen. And so, but it's like the celestial kingdom in there, you guys. It's so pretty.
It's so
you
pretty.
Look up and it is, it's a feat. It's
How many guys like installed that? Like,
I feel like he has guys, but I don't think he let anyone else touch this.
Really?
And he was there forever.
Days, weeks.
Yeah.
I don't know. It was
this
a long time.
Philip Jeffries Stardust Silk. It's kind of a bronze color for those of you just listening. And because it's a circular ceiling, it looks like a spider web, the way that they installed it in the strié. And it's probably, I don't even know how many wedges he had to cut to make this, like 40, 30. Yeah. It's wild.
I will say when he's installing and we get the pleasure of like going to watch the installation, like he has like a proper installer, like is table cutting. On site. It's not like they're just trying to throw it up, and because some will try and trim it on the wall, which is a big mistake, he said. Just like to get the actual seams correct, like you need to do your math beforehand. You need to be cutting on a table, and you need to be, if it needs to be soaked or if it needs, there's so many different types of treatment per the paper. They're so specific, especially when you're doing an intense installation like this. Just make sure you have someone that's reputable and good that will do it the right way and not waste your money. Yeah. Because it's a lot of money.
Extraordinary.
Yeah. But it looks it. Yeah. It's stunning.
So pretty. If you want a closer look at that, that's on the portfolio under
Corner Canyon.
Yeah. That ceiling is just bananas.
It's magnificent.
Yes. Yeah. This is a project also in Utah, actually up in the mountains. This is Heber City. And the primary bedroom here that you're looking at is suede wallpaper. And this is by Philip Jeffries. And it's this dark brown color. And it's one of those where you just do want to touch the walls. It's so incredible.
It's just semi-sweet. Like just,
and it's not color. Real. It's not real leather, right? No. It's just called suede. It's some sort of fabric.
Yeah. It feels very Ralph Lauren-y.
Yeah.
Like, I just love it. That one is Philip Jeffries.
Yeah.
But it's fun to look back at this because like I know like chocolate and brown is like having like this moment the last couple of years, but this was done quite a while ago, and like I love it just as much today as we did it then.
Yeah. I do love a dark primary suite too. I feel like you sleep better. I'm also a blackout blinds girl, so this just adds to that whole feeling of rest. Yeah,
like your temperature calms down, like pulls down completely, and then you can brighten up a little bit in your bathroom. But I love this room.
Stunning. Should we talk about metallics?
Yeah.
Metallic oil spill Galactica.
Yes.
Philip Jeffries.
I'll say if you are like a little bit more glammy and glitzy, this client is. She likes a polished marble. She likes, things to shine a little bit more.
Say no more than polished marble. You had me apartment.
You know the girl. Yeah. But yeah, we saw this one from Philip Jeffries, and it's a scene, but it's so modeled that it feels like a texture, which is why we thought it best fit in this category.
You know that those of you listening, when you see oil in water after it rains, how it's like iridescent. To me, it feels like an oil spill in water, but the ground is like a blackened navy-ish. Yeah. And then you see this iridescent, somehow rainbowy cloud situation floating in it somehow. Yeah. It's ridiculously extraordinary. And you want to just be like, can I use your bathroom again? No. I want to go in there and feel that way.
Like be dipped in the bucket of like oil
whatever
spill.
that is.
It's so good.
Yeah, it's stunning. Philip Jeffries is tippity top.
Yeah.
It's expensive.
Yeah. Top shelf.
Primo ballerina. If you want to blow your own mind as a designer and your clients' minds, I would go here first. If you want to try and reverse out and not spend that much money, I think Thibaut does a really good job with textures.
They do.
Who else would you say?
Those are the two that we use the very most. We use Philip Jeffries a lot if they can afford it. And then like for secondary spaces, we'll use Thibaut, or if they just need to like pull the price down, like we'll find a good option.
Yeah.
I remember like because you end up using Thibaut and like in your bronze in the living room, but you started with the Philip Jeffries horsehair.
I did.
And you loved it, and you still love it, and you still talk about it. It's the horsehair that got away.
It is.
But like, I have no doubt that you'll do that someday somewhere.
Oh, please bless.
You will.
Yeah. Yeah. I also did a Thibaut. It looks like raw silk in my powder bath. And it's vinyl so that it's scrubbable. And it's pretty. It's kind of a nickel-y, silvery color.
Feels warm still.
It's pretty. I'm mad it's not a color, but I also built 10 years ago and like grays and that sort of thing was happening. So it felt like a really good deep neutral. And I'm like, why did I not just use a color? Guys, let this be a lesson to all of you. Just if you're going to do a special place in a wallpaper, don't go neutral. You want to feel something.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. I will say sometimes when people come to Alice Lane, I'll take them on a bathroom tour because I think our bathrooms are so fun. And our favorite bathroom, I think collectively, is the one with it's like this deep coppery, goldy grasscloth that's, anyway, it's just my favorite. And there's a white wainscoting.
Oh, you know what's magic about that one?
Tell me.
It has a black ground. Has a black ground, and then it's blonde grass over the top in the depth. And it's the threadiness is irregular enough. It just looks so expensive.
Rich.
And Ralphie. It's really pretty. And we went
Who made that?
Was that Thibaut?
I think it's Thibaut.
Yeah.
And when we went to order it, it was no longer, it was discontinued. And we're like, how much do you have left? And they had the right amount that we needed, but we're like, should we not do it because it's in our public bathroom for our customers to use and they might be interested? And my eyes couldn't see anything after that. It was like, this is the only one for me. So we just bought the very last of it in the world and did it anyway.
That's awesome. I didn't know that.
But that's how you should feel. Yeah. That's how you should feel about your paper if you're doing it.
Yeah, you can't unsee it.
Yeah.
Yeah. You sleep on it and you wake up thinking about it.
That's the one.
Love it. Yeah. It's like, guys, it's like trying to find your wedding dress. It's trying to find your wallpaper for your powder bath.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah.
It costs just as much.
Oh man, you're not joking. That is so true. Oh my gosh. You guys, this series has been so fun. Thank you, Krista, for your question. That really inspired not 1, but 3 episodes. I hope this answers your question. If any of you guys have an idea or a topic for Dear Alice, please email us at dearalice@alicelanehome.com. And those of you listening, we have a special code for listeners. If you want to shop the online store, it is Dear Alice 20.
Yep,
20. You like that we always look at Corey. We're just like, email.
Yeah. I think it's so fun to see the Dear Alice 20 codes that come in because then I'm like, they're a podcast listener. So
they're our homies.
Yeah, they are. Yeah.
So Jess and Adam, they look at like they're just like, oh, someone bought one of the Odettes. Yeah. It's just like, it's just like all of our little children going out into the world and we're like our parents are looking at it at night.
Little baby entrepreneurs are like, we sold one. That's so exciting. Yeah. It's just fun though, because like we develop our own product. And so when people adopt it, if you will, it's really fun that you guys are living with these things that we were in creation over.
And that we believe in and you believe in it.
Yeah,
and
we sweat over the quality and the details. And it's never not going to be a thrill.
Yeah,
you know?
So true.
Anyway, go get yourself something real nice with Dear Alice 20. Love you guys. Thank you for listening and we will catch you next time. Hey, thanks for listening. If you like our show, please leave a 5-star rating.